family, and welcome to the Hope Shot, our Sunday night topics meeting where we share live. Um, we share our experience, strength, and hope on topics for Sunday evening. So I guess we'll open with Caesar. You can read our clarity statement.
I'm going to do it.
Yay, Kelly.
Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our family.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
So this week I asked a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, Tim, to join us and to bring a topic. Tim is a professional counselor. He's a person in long-term recovery, and he's a friend of mine and a guy I've done a couple of trainings with in this industry. And I value what he has to say concerning these topics, definitely. So I guess I'll turn it over to Tim. He's going to bring us the topic for this evening.
I really never used to get invited anywhere, and I never got introduced like you just did for me. I always got announced, but I never got introduced. So it's what a gift it is to be here, what a gift it is just to see the people already that I can see, they're smiling. We had a little warm up before we went live, and just the joking and the the humor and the busting of the chops, and compared to where I came from. It's one thing that I always noticed. Like I just always noticed that because I struggle with alcoholism and drug addiction. And I started when I was 11, and I was homeless at 44 down here in Florida, South Florida. Just to be here and to go back to school and get my education, and then to continue that education and meet people like you, John, 3.5 hours away from where I live, and just to hit it off. That's like it's like the epic center of recovery. We have this bond. We have this very unique bond. And recovery is just a phenomenal. It's like a phenomenon. And, for me, it's like it's way beyond knowledge, because I tried to figure it out my whole life. And, all I kept doing was staying in that self-defeating cycle, in, out, and out, and out, and out. And the best I could ever do. And somebody like you or other people that I can see on the screen here joining this live cast would be like, why do you keep doing this? And I don't know. So, and then, you guys taught me so much. And my sobriety date's April 15, 2007. Down here in Florida, for you who pay taxes, you might get a little chuckle out of this. And for you that don't pay taxes, you might scratch your head, because I'm also known as Tax Day Tim. Okay, John laughed. A couple of people laugh. Anyway, so and to be here. So it's just an incredible process. I don't try to figure things out anymore. I was hoping John would reach out to me like he did. I need help like that, and he reached out even later, a few hours before we went live. And I really didn't know what I was going to talk about, because I'm really practiced. I really practiced over the years to talk about what's going on now, because I could never live now. I had a really hard time living now. I was either future tripping or shaming myself of my past. So, in this journey, I came up with the topic tonight, I think just because of what I experienced today. So, I experienced, the topic, is working with newcomers. And that goes across the board. I don't care what A you're in or what organization you're in. There's all kinds of recovery programs out there. That's irrelevant. I think, like in the clarity statement, just start. And just start. So, I think the process of just starting And because of people like you gave me what I have today, you know, and what I have today is something I always wanted. I just didn't know how to get it. And so you guys taught me how to just start. You know, when you're 44 years old and you haven't liked how you felt since you were 11, you know, to be able to start was my first gift. You know, for me, it's God's grace. I couldn't see that because, you know, as an alcoholic, and then, you know, my body, my illness really took to cocaine, and the powder lasted until my mid 20s. And of course, I started freebasing. So, you know, for 33 years, you know, I couldn't believe what happened to my life. So, you know, I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful that I get to work with others. You know, I get to work with people that are really struggling. You know, and I got so many gifts in recovery, and one of those gifts was I teach people how to stop saying I don't know. And when I work with people, either individually or as a sponsor or as a mentor, John and I are certified recovery coach professionals. You know, whether it's doing something like that, it's irrelevant. I teach people how to go from I don't know to teaching them how to know, because I just think like I don't know it's just really lame. Like, and everybody has worth, and I just don't think, you know, we're doing people justice, especially the newcomer or families. And I want to talk about families. You know, bring that into the topic as well. You know, because families struggle too. You know, my parents, I'm one of 5 boys, and my dad was a doctor. You know, I'm first generation here. My dad was an old school Italian. You know, he came to Brooklyn in 1953, graduated from the University of Naples, met my mother in England. My mother was this English woman working at the Italian hospital in London. And even as my father was a doctor, and I'm one of 5 boys, and we all struggled with addiction and you know, and alcoholism, and you know, the home was dysfunctional, all that. But you know, when each one of my brothers, and myself, were born, you know, the doctors didn't say right away, you know, oh hey, by the way, go to page 269 because Tim's going to be smoking crack, having seizures, driving cars, and this is what you want to do. You know, it's really difficult to understand something you've never experienced. So for me, I spent my whole life trying to explain to people how I felt. And, you know, and then I used it too. Like, well, you don't understand me. And if you had my problems, and, you know, I didn't get my emotional security, all this stuff. And people would just be like, dude, I heard you were like on your rug with a magnifying glass looking for stuff to smoke. What the hell? Like, what are you talking about? I heard you disappeared again for 3 hours. I heard you 3 days. I heard you had another seizure smoking cocaine, driving a car. I heard you got pulled out of the woods again. What are you talking about? And then I get all pissed and be like, well, you know, I spent my whole life trying to explain something to somebody that those people never experienced. Like, all they were seeing what it was doing to me. So there's like no information. There's no book, you know. Today we have, you know, just so much. So like I love working with newcomers. I love working with families because most people really don't know. They really don't. And there's so much good information. There's so much good knowledge out there. There's so much very good wisdom and insight. And there's all kinds of things. So, you know, I'm a miracle. I went from I don't know to I started knowing. I went from living a life of trying to explain myself or trying to be understood to living a life of trying to understand. You know, and I found like in understanding, it started serving me so much better than trying to be understood. Because trying to be understood, I lived a very reactive life. Like I listen to respond all the time. I listen to respond. What? But you know, and you're talking to me, and I, you know, like I was already thinking of how I was going to respond to you. Like just wired to unwire, sort of say. Like I'm wired. That's part of my illness. It's part of my sickness, my addiction, my alcoholism. You know, my mom. I have a very distorted view. I have a lot of distorted belief systems. And I also have this phenomenon of craving. So once it goes in, I can't stop. But, you know, we don't belittle or we don't shame people that can die from bee stings. Like if Johnny, like you said, we're really good friends. And if John, was allergic to these things, like I know people that can die from, and every time he got into my car, he look at me, yeah, I know. You've been doing this for years. Yes, I have my EpiPen because he's my friend. Like, dude, your life depends, so, and that's what friends do for each other. Well, I have a lot of friends that had this thing that I had, alcoholism, drug addiction, very dysfunctional, delusional thinking. And today we're not doing that, today we're living a completely different life. And in this conversion, I feel I'm very responsible to pass this on, especially to newcomers. I'm going to listen to the rest of you tonight, and I don't know, there'll be feedback, I guess, in the chats. I don't know. I'm just going to go with the flow because I can, because I live very now. Ever since I got sober, it took me a little bit going, but I live very now because everything I do is now. It's just everything I do is now. I just never knew how to live now because I had great coping skills, but I had terrible coping skills. So yeah, I'm big in the newcomer. I'm big working with families, man. I'm big teaching people that addiction, alcoholism, dysfunctional behaviors, how to, live in life on your terms, not life terms, all this stuff. It's not a moral issue. It's not a moral issue. If it was a moral issue, I don't think I'd be here. And it's not an intellectual issue too. Like intellectually, I really believe I could feel the vibe before we started live. Like that's not the problem either, because there's if you by the time we're done here, the insight that we're going to share and the wisdom that we're going to share, and I think Caesar was talking about, this thing's just going to take on its own identity, and that's what's really cool about living now. That's what's cool about living, sober, clean, happy, free, whatever you want to call it. And it's about working on myself and treating myself and engaging with other people. So, to be out here, and I hope there's a newcomer out here. I really hope there's a mother out here or a father out here or a husband or a wife or a brother or a sister, an aunt, an uncle, just happened to stumble upon this. And, hopefully between the people here, it would be something exactly what you needed to hear, because there's no instructions with this. So this is an awesome platform, John. I'm really grateful, that you allowed me in here. I know this is very dear to you, and thank you for letting me talk about the newcomer and the family, component to it too. Because when the addict or the alkie's sick, everybody gets sick, and nobody knows what to do. And it's a parent's, I guess, instinct, to rescue and to want to fix everything and smooth it all out, but. So it's really tough, and this is a very intense subject. So yeah, it's awesome to be here.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, Tim. I really do. That was great. And truth be told, it is probably, for me and my experience has been the most important thing, the way this whole thing in recovery is designed, and it's to help the new guy. What would happen if there wasn't people before us, each and every one of us, The guy that took the time to explain to me he had the same thing as me and that he had found something that could help me, I've caused a lot of destruction in my family, and a lot of the times we say, just like you said, I was always trying to get people to understand. You don't understand, and I get all that today. I didn't before, because I didn't understand. Now that we have a better understanding of this thing, we get to share with other people, man. But, again, the most important thing to me is the new guy. It's the newcomer, somebody who has no idea that we do have a way out, So, Jay, I wanted to check in with you. You got any comments? You want to read a couple things, or?
Sure do, man. Oop, backlash. Hold on. I'm going to mute you for a second, Johnny. I just want to say what's up to certain people. We got Jerry on. What's up, Jerry? Roy, what's up, buddy? Who else we got on here? April. She says good to be in on my favorite meeting of the week. Well, we're glad this is your favorite. We got Sherry. She said she shared it. We got Angel. What's up, Angel? Kelsey, Donna. We got Jennifer. She says, hey, I'm here. Let's see. We got Sean Harper Says, I have a female friend in Columbus, Ohio that needs help ASAP. What can I do? I don't know if one of y'all want to answer that real quick. I got you both unmuted just to let you know.
Well, I mean, I work in treatment. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, should I say that? I don't know what to say. Like with that.
Well, I think the best thing would do to have her message us
Okay.
privately, and then maybe
Okay.
we could point her in the right direction, right, bro? I mean,
I think that's great.
probably our, yeah.
If
that's
she wants
probably
to
gonna
reach out too, I can take a look at the chat and talk to her privately as well. So reach out, private message us, and I'll respond.
be
Okay,
beautiful.
And I've got resources in Columbus from my CCAR training. All those people came from Ohio down here for the training.
Yep.
So I know a bunch of recovery coaches there now.
Isn't that
Perfect.
cool how that works?
And
All
this
right.
is how it works.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey,
Love it.
we got Raven. What's up, Raven? We got Marcy and Trish and Daniel, and that's about it. And hey, guys, if you guys could share this live feed, man, we appreciate it. And
Please.
you never know who this might help. You know, somebody new in recovery might hear this and want to stay. So please share this feed. It might help someone. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, brother. So I guess I'll open up. So, I know Nate for a lot of years, and I know that this thing has affected him and his family, and he's had a lot of the same experiences we all had, and maybe you could tell us a little bit, Nathan, of your experience. Was Nathan frozen?
I'm coming. Yeah, I'm coming, bro. I'm coming. You hear me? You got me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm experiencing technical difficulties on my end. I apologize. So the newcomer, man, what like Johnny said, and Tim, the most important topic that we could really discuss. It's how we get people here, and then it's how we stay here. So it has like the double effect, man. And what I was thinking about is how it took me to see somebody just like me get sober so I could understand that this thing could even really. I had ideas that this could work, but I never really knew a guy that was in the trenches, like right by my side, that was doing the things that I did and been the places I've been to and experimented. Well, not really experimented. Lived the same type of life that I lived for so many years and then found a way out. And I just remember being terrified, man. I had no idea. And I just spoke about this week with somebody. It was painfully obvious I needed to put down the dope, man. That was without saying. I understood that it was causing me trouble. I understood that it was making me go to prison. I understood that it was making me end up in the hospital, overdose. I saw the destruction it was causing my family. And so it's pretty evident, if you're new, you're like, okay, I need to stop doing this. What I don't see then is there's like these 1,000 behaviors and ways and these patterns that I perpetuate on a daily basis that not only led me to needing the substance, but that I, that I use as a survival skill. Like I had to be a certain way in order to be, live the life I was living. And it's those, and it's what I see when I work with others most today. Everybody, I see them get sober. I see them put down the booze or the dope, but what I can see now, and really I can see it so plainly because this is exactly how I was, is all those little ways, the lying, the scheming, one guy I'm working with now, he's talking to 20 different girls, he's like, oh, I got, like, he's trying to do all this stuff, and what I try to explain to him in the most kindest of ways is this isn't going to work for you, man. you know, like, and I promise it wasn't explained so kindly to me. You know, it was explained to me like, Nathan, you have nothing to offer anybody. You know, you are in a treatment place with nothing. What can you possibly give somebody right now? Work on yourself, you know? And I remember being so offended by this, you know? Like, how dare you? I'm a good person. You know what I mean? and I and I maybe I had some semblances of kindness and compassion and empathy, but it was all centered around what it could serve me and how selfish I was, you know. And anyway, so oh man, it's what a gift it is to see a reflection of my past self sitting in front of me and have all the tools necessary for them to find some type of relief, you know. And this is after, you know, they put down the drugs or the alcohol. You know, now we're getting down to the brass tacks here. We're getting down to like what made you get to this position where, you know, you're a liar, you're a manipulator, everything, you know, that, and this is what I was, you know. I had to lie, I had to manipulate, I had to scheme. I was full of insecurities, fears. I was so self-conscious and anxious. And now, which is not to say that I don't experience some of these things today, but I've been provided a solution. And in this solution, I get to be who I truly am. And what's beautiful about this process is that towards the end, you realize that all we're really meant to do is to help somebody that's just coming into this. You know, that is our sole purpose. That is my sole purpose. You know, all I want to do is give this thing back to somebody that thinks that thinks just like I did, because I thought I wasn't worthy of happiness, love, recovery, any of it. I thought that this whole faith and spirituality thing was a big scam. You know, I thought community, friendship, all these things, they were so fantastical and foreign to me. I had no concept of it. And to be able to show somebody that how important these things are today, and not only to be in a position to show them, but like to have the experience and to be able to, you know, everything if I was telling you a story or if I was kicking it with you, you know, a few years ago, they were all stories. I was all bullshit. You know, I was telling you some lie I'd began to believe after telling it for so long. It was, you know, something I borrowed from something that somebody else said. So, you know, I put all these pieces together so I could form this persona that maybe you would like me, you know. And I'm telling this to people in a prison cell, like trying to impress them. You know what I mean? Like maybe he'll like me if I tell him I was a drug dealer and I didn't shoot heroin and smoke crack, you know? Anyway, yeah, so in this process, I'm gonna be able to help people see that there is a way out, to see that there is a solution. And I don't have a ton of experience working with families, but if I can offer relief to some poor bastard's mom or dad, man, that's a living amends for me for what I put my mom and dad through. You know, my mom, God rest her soul, is gone. I didn't have a chance to share this recovery with her. She passed like 6 months into this deal, and but now I get to be with my dad on a daily basis. And yeah, the very least I could do is pick up a newcomer, or, you know, sit down with the newcomer, go shake his hand when I see him standing uncomfortably and awkward at a meeting, because I used to be that guy. You know, I was terrified. And so I offer a helping hand to all these guys. You know, I go out of my way to make them feel comfortable. And what a gift. It's given me everything. So yeah.
Thank you, brother. That was awesome. And it's always, man, you know, we always talk about how we're so awkward, all of us. And I think that that's so important for us to be able to show up in some guys, like you said, some poor bastard just like me in the beginning that does not speak our language, you know, and is awkward and uncomfortable, and let them know that, like, hey, man, it can be okay, you know. It's a special thing, man, that we get to be armed with. Just a little side note. I remember I was telling Lisa the other day, Nate. I remember the exact spot. We were in my car when I hit you with the Nathan. Tell me 5 things that you have to offer a relationship right now. And you said, I'm a nice dude, man, and that was it.
That's it.
And I was like, okay, so now we begin, you know?
Yeah.
That was awesome, bro. It's so funny how I remember exactly where we were when that happened. You were pissed. All right, Jay, do you want to read anything? Or we got anything new or?
Nope, not yet. But if you guys are just jumping on, tell us hi, let us know you're here,
Yeah,
comment.
share.
You know, if you got any questions, definitely put it down there, let us know, and we can answer them, and also share our live video. Like I said, you never know who this is going to help.
All right. And can we throw the ball over to Caesar and Kelly?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So,
Talk about awkward. I'm always awkward. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say. Anyway, go.
so I mean, whatever you want to call it, whatever language you speak, sponsor, mentor, life coach, the dude that was willing to show me how to live, I owe a debt of gratitude. I knew nothing about what it took to live a life without drugs and alcohol in my body. I did not know how to do that. That may not be the words that I asked this guy. I may not have said, hey, man, please show me how to live. But that's really what I was asking, because I didn't know how to live. You know, he came in with a tie on. I say this all the time. It's still funny to me, though. He came in with a tie on. He got out of a car, came into the treatment center, cool and calm, glasses on. The guy that came in the night before looked like me. He's covered in tattoos and he cussed. This guy had like a peace of mind, you know, like he had an aura about him. And everything told me to get the guy with the tattoos that was cussing and ask him, because that's what I relate to. But I had a moment where I went, maybe I should ask this guy, because I can't relate to him pulling up in a car and he looks like he came from a stable job. And I can't relate to the fact that he doesn't look like his thoughts are going 1,000,000 miles an hour and he can't sit still. So let me ask this guy. And, you know, he was supposed to show me the path, but he did so much more than that. You know, he put me on the path, told me I had to do the work. I did my part, but he matched my part with, as hard as I'd work, he'd work just as hard. If I wanted to let up off the gas, he'd let up off the gas and be like, all right, man, well, I don't have to pick you up either. If you haven't really been working on the writing or anything, you could sit there and think about it. And then I'd put my foot back on the gas again and get it going. And I mean, everything after that treatment center, I mean, I didn't know how to do anything. He helped me open a bank account because I didn't know how to do that on my own. Like he helped me get my first credit card. He helped me look for a job. I mean, the guy was selfless. So we talk about the newcomer. You know, that's how I was treated. You know, some people get hard asses. I don't respond well to that. If you'd told me to take the cotton out of my ears and stick it in my mouth, I'd have told you to stick it up your ass, because that's not, I don't respond to that. So the right person came into my life when I was ready and selflessly showed me the way and showed me how to live. And in turn, I try to do that for anybody that wants help. And that's anybody. It doesn't matter if it's recovery or not. This is about recovery, but I have to be ready today to be of service in all aspects of my life and my job, to the lady at the grocery store, to the woman that we just found out is in the hospital. I mean, like,
oh yeah,
that's what it's about, is doing these things that get me outside of myself. So I have my experience as the newcomer, and my experience to the newcomer is I have to be an example of recovery 24 hours a day. I don't get to come on this meeting and then go act like an asshole when I walk out the door. Nobody's going to ask me anything about recovery whatsoever. I have to be living this thing and practicing this thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that way, when somebody's ready and they see me, they're willing to ask me, hey, can you show me how you got this? And that's that two-way street where somebody's going to ask me because I truly am practicing it. And if I'm truly practicing it, then they're going to ask me, so I have to put myself in a position where my sobriety, my recovery is attractive, if you will. I can't be a miserable SOB out on the streets all day long and expect somebody to go, hey, man, I want to be miserable too. They're already miserable, They want happy, joyous, and free. And that's what we've got when we're really working our programs, whatever program it is. I know everybody on this. I just met this man, but everybody else, I know you guys pretty well. And outside of this, we're a bunch of laughing, fun-having, fun-loving people. And that is attractive because I could not imagine. I hadn't had a true laugh in so long because nothing was funny. There was nothing funny anymore. I mean, my life was hell. If I wasn't locked up, I was locked up because it was my own mental prison that I was in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Where's the next one going to come from? What do I got to do? Where am I going to get it? Who am I going to screw over? Or, hey, didn't I screw that guy over? I can't go over there. I can't go here. I live free today. I can hold my head up high, walk down any street that I want to, and not worry about the wreckage of my past because I've made all the wrongs right. So when I put my hand out and say, hey, man, I'm Caesar and I'm in recovery, I'll help you any way I can. I'll help you any way I can. Absolutely. There's parameters on that, though. I'm not going to pay your rent because that wasn't done for me. I'm not going to wipe your ass. I'm not going to tell you everything's going to be all right. I'm going to tell you what to do, and then it's on you to do it. And in my experience, our friend Chad said it. I just want to put it out there. I'm saying something that I heard from somebody else. He said, when somebody's ready, they're just ready. There's nothing you can do that's going to send them the wrong way or the right way. If they're ready, they're going to grab onto this thing and they're going to go. If they're not ready, you could do everything right. Hey, man, I showed them this and I showed them that. And I read with them every night and I did this and they still got high. Yeah, they did. And then it happens all the time. Do we shame them when they come back? No. We love them when they come back. When they come back, we go, hey, man, I hope you're ready this time. What can I do to help? And I think that's the biggest thing that we need to do is with what's going on out there now, the last thing somebody needs is to finally work up the courage to walk back into a meeting after they just burned their life down again. They don't need me to go, hey, did it get any better out there? No, they need to hear, man, I'm so glad to see you, man. Welcome back, in a hug. And, we're here for you, brother. And I see too much of the other thing. I see too much of the, what an idiot. It was just, did it get any better? Did you learn anything this time? Or like, I don't know. It's my experience that love goes a lot further than shaming. You couldn't shame me into anything because I was already ashamed of myself. So, telling me I'm a piece of shit. It's like, yeah, I know, and I'll play that role and I'll walk right back out the door and go be a piece of shit. You tell me you love me, that's foreign. What do you mean you love me? I just did all this crap. No, man, I'm just glad you're back and that you're alive. And Tim was talking about the families, it's, I've had several people that have the mothers and fathers have been involved. And I think the most important thing that I've been able to pass on to them, it's not some kind of failure on their part because they think if they'd only tried harder or this or that. And I try to alleviate that and say, there's absolutely nothing you can do. There's nothing you can't wrap somebody in bubble wrap and make them get sober. It doesn't work that way.
Them into sobriety.
You can't love them into sobriety. Frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices. There's all these lines. It's true. You couldn't plead me and beg me. My mother, my father, my daughter couldn't plead me into getting clean and sober. It had to be the right moment in time. And then somebody sitting across from me that had been where I was. I had to see it that way. I had to hear somebody tell a story that sounded like mine, except they were on the other side of it. And, that's the way it works for me. A counselor that had never been there, I wasn't listening to the second sentence. I remember being in a rehab. I was like, oh, are you in recovery too? Well, no, but I took all these classes. I was like, boop, ears off. I don't want to hear it. You have nothing to offer me. There's lots of people that know how to stay sober that never went where I went. Get me a guy who has trudged his ass out of hell and is all cleaned up. I'll listen to that guy. You get me someone that's never been there, that don't have any mud on their boots, I'm probably not going to listen. You want to add anything?
No, you know what? I'll add. I remember I didn't go to treatment. I didn't go to detox. I walked in to a 12-step program. I didn't have any of those things, but what I did have in this group that I walked into was a solid group of women who took my hand and told me that they would love me until I learned to love myself. And that has never left me, like, ever. That's just, it was such a profound thing to say. Now, I will say they had a lot of love in them, but they did have some hard ass in them too. Like, I would sit there, I was an anxious, like, disaster. And I still battle with anxiety and all those things today. But I mean, coming off of alcohol and benzos and being 2 weeks sober, walking into, just a big group of people, it was horrifying. So I would sit and I would listen, and I would sit and I would listen. And, they were fine with that for a little bit. But I remember they finally called on me one day and they wanted me to open my mouth. And I was like, no, I'm anxious. I can't talk. And this lady looked at me and said, who do you think you are? And I was like, what does that mean? It was the same lady who told me she would love me until I learned to love myself. And I was like, I'm anxious. I can't talk. And she was like, you could be saving somebody's life. It's not about you. And it changed all of my perspective on actually opening my mouth. And, they were kind, and they shared their stories of the first times they spoke and how anxious they were. And they just gave me a sense of, we're all in this together. I never had that. I never had people who thought like me, who shared, I grew up very much as sweep it under the rug kind of thing. Like, we don't talk about these things. We don't talk about our struggles. We don't go and talk about it in, public. We sweep it under the rug, we pull up our bootstraps, and we keep going. And these people talked about these things out loud and, and held my hand as I struggled. And, I've been a social worker since before I got sober, and I always had the desire to help people. I don't know. It was just like something innately in me, but I never could quite help people without hindering myself. And it really took me learning how to kind of deal with my own demons and conquer those before I could reach out and help other people. And that's the highlight of my day, not just in recovery, but like Cesar said, in my personal life and my professional life. And it never ceases to amaze me how much I can learn from somebody who is brand spanking new. And they usually come along right when I need them, right? And it's magical. Like, every time somebody will come along and I learn more from them than I could ever teach them. So
I just want to add this. So when I got out of rehab, I'd been out 1 week, and I go to this big meeting, and Nate's sponsor walks up and goes, "Hey man, you're going to be the 10-minute speaker."
Oh man. I know what yes. I was there that day.
about 200 people at this meeting. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Nope. And this buddy of ours from Boston goes, you're going to turn your back on the program that saved your life, kid? I was like, what the fuck am I going to say to that shit? I get up there.
Shook.
I went blank. Like, the words came out. I don't know what I said. And I got off the stage and I came down and I asked Chris, I was like, so how did I sound? I was like, what did I say? Did I even say anything about getting sober? And he was like, nah, man, you said everything. It was great. He's like, the only funny part, it looked like there was a fan blowing your clothes because you were shaking so hard that your clothes were moving. But I say
But you
all
push
that
through it.
because I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I think we talked about it last week. You know, I needed these guys. I said my sponsor was a sweetheart and all that, but I had a whole group of guys that were not sweethearts that were going to tell me what I was really supposed to be doing. And getting pushed out of my comfort zone and pushing through those things, you know, that's what I needed when I was new. I needed to be prodded and pushed into these uncomfortable situations where now I don't even really care. I mean, you can prop me up in front of 200 people now and I'm fine.
But I feel like that continues throughout. It doesn't matter how long we're in.
We got to keep doing it.
We keep doing it, but nothing, no growth ever comes from a comfort zone. So, you know, like it's a continuous process. You keep doing what you're doing and you keep learning and evolving as well. You know, you could be years in recovery. I still learn something new just about every day, you know, like I feel like you keep doing that.
Absolutely. So that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I still get weird. Even tonight when he's like, you're chairing the meeting, I'm like, okay. You know, it's
Me
weird
too.
to do. But I do this stuff and the next time it's not so bad, you know, and it's with everything, man. You know, Lance shared with me one time. He did the same thing to me. I think I was like 60 days sober or something. And he was like, man, you're going up there to tell your story tonight. 10 minutes before the meeting, I almost died, bro. And then I was out there talking to him, and he said to me the most simplest, most profound thing. And it was, dude, tell your story. You can't fuck it up. It's your story. And I'm like, whoa. And I did exactly that. And I shook and I sweat, but I did it. And the reaction I got from it made me feel a little bit better for the next time. And the next time I was still weird, but I did it anyway. You know, they teach us once, just like your buddy said, you can't say no, you know.
The what you said, that man, the sweaty armpits and the shaking and all of that stuff, it's real. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
so real.
and if I don't do this regularly, it comes right back. I turn right back into that guy where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Man, I can hear that. What Lance told you, somebody told me the same thing when we used to go into the detox. Like, how can you mess it up? You lived it. I'm like, oh, I had a rebuttal. I said, look, I was blacked out all the time. So Lord knows what I'm actually doing out there. And he's like, shut up, just go in there.
Yeah. Just like Lisa said, there was a kid that he used to be around in my community. And I love and respected this kid because he would speak up in a meeting, and every single time he would raise his hand and he'd say, my name is Scotty, and my voice shakes when I share. And then he would share, and his whole voice would tremble the whole time. And I'm in the cut, and I don't want to share because my shit is, you know, trembling too. But I respected that so much, and it gave me the courage to start speaking up, you know.
That was one of the things that I was taught too. Just when you go up there, just say, doesn't matter where you're speaking, just say, I'm really nervous. And something about saying that, just like anything else we do, when we say it out loud, we take our power back. You know, it doesn't have power over us. So when I would go up, I would say, I'm really nervous and I might shake, but I'm going to do it anyway. And you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's keep it moving. Just, you got anything to read as far as comments or?
Yeah, I got a few of them. We have, hold on one second. Sherry says, I'm going on 4 years sober and never had a sponsor. I'd had one. I wish I'd had someone to talk to. Then we have Jennifer says, I'm 7 years clean and struggle with generalized anxiety and major depressive disorder. That is, if you want to reach out to our Hope Shot, Kelly, you could probably touch on that because I think she has the same thing, right, Kelly?
I do have the exact same diagnoses and a few others. And not only that, though, I have a little bit of training to help. If you want to reach out, I can get you connected to some resources.
Awesome.
Awesome. And what was the first girl's name that said she hasn't?
Sherry.
And she's what, 4 years sober, 7 years sober? And
4.
4. Okay, so Sherry, you could still get a sponsor right now. Most of us in this, every single one of us in this room, including Tim, who has, 16 plus years, has a sponsor. And I have a sponsor, and Justin and Nate, and each and every one of us have a sponsor. And it's touching on this topic right here. I love what you said, Caesar, in the beginning when we were speaking about it. Like, in the beginning, I didn't say to him, like, yo, I need you to teach me how to live. But that's exactly what these guys have done for me, my sponsor and everybody I've surrounded myself with. Another thing that I was thinking of before we get James on is, I had been probably in recovery by 4 years at the time. And I held a position as a director, and I was on a team with like 8 or 9 other directors. All of them were women. It was me, my boss, and these women, right? And a lot of them aren't addicts or alcoholics or whatever, but they would come to me just because of the way that I lived and I navigated at work and communicated with people and in my relationships. And it's like these guys, recovery and all this stuff has taught me to find the solution. It doesn't matter if it's recovery based or not. So I noticed that at that point in my life, like people that weren't even, like us, addicts or alcoholics, were still searching for answers. And it's, recovery has taught me, come up with the solution. And that's all I would do, is I would express to them, like, okay, so this is your problem now. What is the solution to that? Let's come up with something. So it's just so many blessings that come with this process. It's not just with drugs and alcohol. So anyways, I'm gonna stop babbling. James, give us some love, man.
Can you hear me? That echo? Is it good to go? All right, we're good to go. All right. So Tim, thank you for coming on. I think you're a rock star. We appreciate you here. It's always good to hear a different voice, and I love the topic. And I love that when we had talked about the topic, it wasn't just the newcomers, but the families are newcomers too. And that's definitely my experience. I have 5 children, and part of being a newcomer, man, like I chased my recovery like I chased my dope. You know what I'm saying? And like I went to a lot of meetings. Our suggestion in our 12-step fellowship is 90 meetings in 90 days. And we blew that out of the water. Like recovery was my life. That's all I did. It was my way out. It was my freedom. It was for the first time in my life. I felt like I had a way out and I didn't have to be a slave to dope no more. Right. The problem along with that journey, as I told you, I was chasing recovery the same way I chased my dope. And my sponsor at the time, he would always be like, James, what's changed? He's like, if you're going to meetings all the time and you're never home, what's the difference in you going to get a bag of dope? And like, listen, my sponsor was not nice to me. I got called a fucktard a lot, like for real, like a lot. But like, I'm a true believer that diversity is our strength. Even here, right? We use a different diversity here. I think it's a strength. Somebody will be in the comments or will watch this that can pick up on what the other person was talking about, or maybe what I'm talking about, or what Caesar. Like everybody's flavor attracts somebody, right? And my sponsor, I came in here rough and opinionated and dogmatic, right? And having to be right. And I come from a salesman background, so I always have to have a rebuttal, and I have to have an answer, or you have one up on me. And we got into. I'm so grateful for the patience he had with me, because we had some face-to-face arguments, cussing, like kind of nasty to each other. Probably me being more nasty than him. You don't fucking know me. I'm not going back out. I'll do whatever it takes. Like screaming matches, And I remember sitting down with my kids, right? And I think I got about 6 months clean at this time. And I literally, like, with tears in my eyes at our dinner table, talking to him, like, I know Dad's still not here. I need a year. I need a year of doing what I'm doing so I don't go back out, so I can give you guys a better life. I have to make this my life. Like, it has to become a lifestyle for me, and I'm sorry I'm not here. And you know what I found out? They weren't mad at all. Dad, we'll take this version of you any day. You know, keep doing it, Dad. We love you. We support you. You know, my daughter gave me my 6-month key tag, which was pretty dope. You know, and she said, I love you. And like during addiction, I'm not gonna say ruined, because everything is changeable and fixable with behaviors change. But there was some definitely collateral damage, right? There's some collateral damage that was out there between me and my daughter. And like when her mother died, it was really hard to even look at my daughter, because she reminded me so much of her mother, right? And like it took me a while to figure out that was a real thing. I didn't even know that was something that happens to people when their partner dies, right? And like I thought for the longest something was wrong with me. Like, how could a dad not love his, like, how could he be turned away, right? And like, so there was some stuff between me and my daughter. And like I said, she gave me my 6-month key tag, and like, so they had to go through the struggles. Like, listen, my kids went to meetings. I know some people don't want to, they don't want their kids around it. That's fine. Listen, I brought my kids to the dope hole. So they're definitely going to get some hope with me, you know? As far as family goes, like the rest of them was just so sick of my shit. They were grateful that I was doing something else, you know? And it turns to find out that like during this process out there, like I was the last one to find out things because I was really hot-headed and temperamental. Today, because of recovery, I'm the first one they call. I show up first to the scene. That's what recovery does, you know? And so you know, and I want to touch on this. So that's my family stuff, my experience with that. And I kind of want to go back to what Caesar was talking about the when someone comes back hitting them with the, are you done yet? Or this or that. You know, just to play devil's advocate here, like I needed somebody rough. Now it doesn't work for everybody. I truly believe that there's some people we have to love and baby and make them feel good. And then other people need to just be told the damn truth. You know, do you want to die today, James? Go get you some. Oh, you want to come to a 12-step fellowship and not do no work? Well, you're messing up some real good get high time. Go get you some. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Because you know what? My literature tells me that, like, I can't hit them with a book. I can't make them come here. I can't force them to jail. I can't stop their misery. There is absolutely nothing I can do until they are entirely ready. You know, and that's what's hard, right? Like, now that I've been here and I'm out of that newcomer stage, you know, that's the hard part, right? Because we get told to help and be there for the newcomer, and they're the most important person in the rooms, right? And like, for me, man, I get attached. I want to save them. I want to, come on, get in the boat. I'll buy all your literature for you. Let's go out to eat and just stay and like me and love me. Okay, we're going to change everything about you. Just stay, not me, but the program, because I have so much faith of what it can do because it did it for me. And I know my story, right? I know how rough around the edges I am. And if it can work for me, I know it's going to work for you. You know, and the sad fucking reality is not everybody gets it. And you know what's really, really sad? Some must die so others can live. And it's one of the harshest things we can ever say, but it's the most real shit you'll ever hear. You know, do I want to go to another funeral? Hell no. Do I need it to remind me that my ass could be next? Sure do. Because I am not above it. I'm not above death. Jails, institutions, death. And it don't come in that order. Chaos, non-peace, the circus upstairs. You know, like it don't come in that, you know? Like there's no order for me. I know what does come. Misery, isolation, loneliness, you know, guilt and shame. Those things come if I choose to use. Death, I'll die when I'm supposed to die. That's my belief, you know? And You know, one thing I have to learn here, and I'm grateful that I'm a part of a 12-step fellowship that teaches me spiritual principles, you know, because that's how I live my life today. And I'm so grateful that, like, when a newcomer walks into the room, my first thought ain't judging. My first thought is anonymity, right? We are all equal. Tim, right? Like, you got some degrees, some letters behind your name. Brother, we the same. Johnny, you in Ocala, you doing the deal, you in a different fellowship. We the same, bro. Anonymity across the board. I ain't no better and I ain't no worse. You know what I'm saying? And I need to be reminded of that to the newcomer. Like, I got some clean time now and I got some recovery in me and some spiritual principles. And guess what? I ain't no better than. You know, now I can go up and I can give them some love, introduce myself, give them a phone number. And like, after that, oh, get you some. What do you want to do? You want to go get high? Go get high. I can't stop you. You want some recovery? Come on. Let's go. You have a whole list of numbers when you get here. Like, what do you want to do, man? Because you know what? The only thing I ain't getting back is no more time. You know, and unfortunately, my truth is I've been hurt time and time again from trying to help because here's the truth. We ain't ready to help when we get here. We get told we're supposed to help, and we ain't done no damn work on ourselves. And what I do is I start giving with expectations. And I can't give and be hurt if I'm not manipulative. If I'm just giving to give, I can never be hurt. But instead, I start helping people as soon as I get here because I want to feel good about myself and I want to get rid of the guilt and shame. And guess what? There's a reason I had 12 steps to work through first. You know? And we miss that. Like, and I put up a wall and I don't want help to overdo it. I'm at a point in my recovery. It's like either you want it or you don't. You know, and like, I'm here. We can get it together, bro. You want to call me and you want to get high? I'm there. I'm there, dude. What do you want to do? Like, I'm there if you call me before you get high. You call me after you get high? Good luck. Let me know how that works out, player. You know who's not getting high today? James. I'm going to lay my ass down and go to bed to be with my family. And when you're ready for some of that recovery, I'll be right here by the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? And by the men and the women in my fellowship and the people like you that jump on here with me that will keep me in check. That I get to see when we go fellowship, like to be a part of a lifestyle, because that's what it is. If you're a newcomer, all you know is the streets and misery and negativity, and you want to come into some recovery and get positive fellowship and love, it's right here, but it's a lifestyle and you have to jump into it. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm babbling at this point. I'm sorry. I get all caught up in the moment, guys. I'm like, really?
You're good, brother. We
You're
love you.
good.
You're the one that brings the spice, dude. And it's all good. Everything you speak is great, bro. It really is.
Anything
It's the truth.
How many people do we help? I don't know. For me, I've had sponsees that have passed away, like a few. Well, yeah, a few. And it's hard. And if we don't do that work before we pour out, then we'll go down with them. And that's the reality of it.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes, exactly.
If I'm not filling up every day, if I'm not doing recovery for me, and I'm only doing recovery for you, the well's going to run dry, and I'm going to be the one that's running out there losing my mind. So
yeah.
But hey, also in the same breath, if we don't necessarily have to take someone through the steps to help a newcomer. If someone saw me a month sober that used to know me, they're like, holy shit, what is this? What is he doing? There's something working in his life. I don't have to tell him anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just showing up, you know, doing what I'm doing the first couple months. If I'm not doing what I was doing for 2+ decades and I'm doing something different, that in itself is a huge voice, you know, and people are watching that.
I like that. That's very true.
I think I think each and every one of us in this forum right here it's all part of the journey, man, because I mean, I'm sure each and every one of us has gone through this thing like early in recovery. We want to help everybody and we don't know any better and we try to force it on some people because we got it and we want everyone to have it. But it goes right back to the same thing. We're like, until the student is ready, we can do all the stuff in the world, man. Buy the literature, keep company with them, take them to meeting, whatever we could suggest. But until they're ready, man, it's like I've done a lot of harm trying, man. We get emotionally attached early on to what we think the outcome should be. And I've learned over the years that I have to, exactly what you touched on, James. It's like I can show up, I can tell you that there is a way, man, and we can show you. But again, just like we've all touched on, is you got to do the work. But
So
we can lay it out in front of you.
There was one that a guy said to me one time, man, and like, so there's a difference. Then, you know, all right. So there's two type of newcomers. There's the one that just came to the rooms, and then there's the one that relapsed, right? You know, that came back after the relapse, and he had to teach me. And this dude's got some time, and he said there's a difference between a relapse and a same behavior. You know, a relapse is like, okay, I worked the program for a little bit. I got some recovery and something drew me back out. Obsession and compulsion happened again. I went back out and I came right back in. That's a relapse. Not going out every few days or that's the same behavior. Like, I can't keep helping somebody with the same behavior. They do have to hit their bottoms, man. You know what I mean? Like, I can be there. I love you every time, but like, there's a huge difference in that. And it took me a while to understand that.
It's like the classic, because I used to do that when, I went out. When I first tried to really do recovery, I stuck around. I got a sponsor, did some work, 1.5 years. I went back out. And for that year, I'd go out and get high and come back and go out. And all I was doing is resuming. I wasn't relapsing. I was resuming in the same behavior that I've always done my whole life. And another thing I wanted to touch on real quick before we open to whoever, Justin or whatever, is that I needed to be roughed up, man. I did, just like you, James. I had so much guilt and shame when I came back this last time, and I had to hear all the, oh, there's Johnny, he's never gonna get this shit. And all of those things, man, because those were some of the driving forces in me, having that moment where I was like, okay, man, I need to get fucking busy living because I'm tired of this, man. I don't want to revisit this ever again in my life. Like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, And so that's me. Justin, why don't you share with us your lovely experience with the newcomer?
Who, me? Or Justin or whatever.
I didn't mean no.
No, it was hilarious. Sorry. I love it. Hey, I want Terry said something real quick. And dude, I don't know what happened, but the comment thing disconnected. So now I can't put them up on the thingamajiggy on the Tron. But Sherry says that meetings around here are still touch and go with COVID, and you guys are like my angels. So thank you. And so I just want to say thank you for being here, because we just be talking to ourselves if we had nobody to listen to us. You know what I mean? So being here is super important to us, and we're glad it helped, especially for these times. So newcomer, let me just mute you, Johnny. I remember when I was a newcomer, man, and I was scared as shit. I was scared of everybody. I was scared of my own fucking shadow. Like, literally, I was the most sketched out person with or without drugs. I'm a tweak, okay? Through and through, like, literally, I'm a tweak. And I had to get over that to be able to find a freaking sponsor, somebody I trusted. Like, that was a whole nother ball game. Like, I didn't trust not a soul, dude. I didn't trust nobody. Everybody want what I had, and I had nothing. Like literally nothing, but they wanted what I had. And it took a lot for me to figure out and trust people, man. Sometimes you just got to go into it with just like, yo, what else do I got to fucking lose? You know what I mean? And I did pretty quick. Luckily, I knew a lot of people that were in recovery already. That was like my saving grace, is I knew a lot of people in recovery. And I was sitting there on Facebook going, man, I wish I was like them. Why are they so happy? You know? And I'm like, I can never get it like them though. You know? And then I come in there and I want them to hit me with that magic wand they got, you know? They've been holding out the whole time. They have this magic wand, you know, or pixie dust or whatever the hell it is, you know, to help me get back to some kind of higher living, you know, you know, and it's just not the case, you know, like they couldn't hit me with no magic wand, you know, and then when you get some clean time, then you think you got a cape on, you want to go save some people. Hey guys, look at me, huh? You know, and it's like, I can't, man. I'm still working on Justin. I had 23 years of being fucked up that I still am lost to who I am, you know, and it takes some time. It takes some time. Sometimes it takes longer for people, and that's me. I'm the guy that takes longer for, you know. I beat my head against the wall every single day almost. I freaking run into the motherfucker, you know, looking for a window or a door. But sometimes I'm a mess, man. But the other days, dude, I'm okay, you know. And if I didn't have my close knit people, the people on here, to pull me out and then call me out here and there, you know, and who knows where I'd be. And that's what the most important thing I think when you first get in recovery is finding that support group, some people, some freaking wise asses that you can clown around with, you know. Ain't got to be all you know, some seriousness, but when it's time to get serious, you got to get serious, you know, and they know how to turn that thing off pretty quick. You know, some of us take it a little too far, but whatever. And that's like one of the most important things. And a lot of times, man, when you see people struggling, you just want to just choke them out, you know, just stop it, you know. I'm sure a lot of people on here want to do that to me, but whatever. But it's like you know what's like, dude, I know what you're going through. I want to smack the shit out of you and like hide you somewhere, you know, until this all subsides, but it doesn't work like that. You know, you can't lock them in a closet. And I figured that out the hard way. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can't just, it's something that they have to want. They got to be ready. And, you know, the best thing I could say is what my dad did for me was he didn't give me nothing I wanted. He didn't waver. He said, screw you. But my dad, he's in recovery too. He's been there for 30 years. So he kind of knows what to do. But that's like the best thing is like, don't give me shit. You know, I don't care what's going on. You know, here and there, he'd do like simple things, but nothing major. You know, he'd make me figure it out. FIO, figure it out, you know? And that's probably the best thing that could have happened to me until I bumped my head enough times to where I'm like, man, I'm tired of freaking these knots on my head. You know, I'm ready to do something about it, you know? And that's the same thing with recovery, dude. Like I could bump my head against the wall so many times until I want to do something, you know? So, you know, and that's pretty much it, man.
Justin, I got to give it to you, man. You will listen when you get called out. Like there's not many people like that. And I'm telling you, like when you bring something to your attention, I'm not going to say how I know that, but you listen and it's kind of nice. I'm just saying. Well,
listen, I didn't listen for a long time, but it depends on the person too. Cause I'm skeptical still. I don't trust y'all. Depends on the person. Now, if not y'all, but some people, like if I don't respect you, trust you, like you, know you, all that, like it's hard for me to listen to you because I still am that addict that thinks that everybody's out to fucking get what I have and I still have nothing. So.
All right, brother. You have a lot. You have plenty. I think all of us in this room have plenty today, you know? And that's what makes us so sweet, dude. The combination of all of us together is something special, man. And not just us here, but the people that live our lifestyle and get us. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
is there anything else anybody else wants to touch on?
Hey, let me read a couple of comments real quick.
Sure, let's do it.
Sherry got a kick of the tooth thing, so I like it. We can hang out, Sherry. Just saying. And then Linda says, "Wish." She says, "Wish you a slow recovery." I think she was replying to a comment. Natalie says, "Amen." I thought I found myself, but lost her again. And then we have Missy Thing. He replied to Natalie saying, "I'm in treatment court, and it seemed every time I start to find my way, they slam the legal hammer of justice, and I lose I lose all confidence." Sherry says, "Still lost here." And Linda says, "Good night. Thank you for your service." And I did drug court too, Missy Thing, just to let you know. And it might not have got me going, but it put those little nuggets along the way. You know, these little, what do they call them? Breadcrumbs, James? Breadcrumbs?
Breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs along the way till I finally got it. But those are little things instilled in me that set me on my way and got me here. So that's it.
The seeds of love, baby. That's what I like to call them anyway. All right, that was an amazing meeting, man. Is there anybody else that wants to touch? No, we're good. I love you guys, man. It was a great meeting. Join us Wednesday. Justin, information. I don't know who is lined up for Wednesday.
I got you.
Kelsey's coming on Wednesday.
Oh, snap.
We're all gonna be here at our house. We're gonna have a party here.
Cool. Okay.
James, can I come?
Yeah,
Yes, you can.
come over here. We'll just all hang out.
I freaking will. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, can I just say one thing before we leave?
No.
I just want to thank Tim for coming on. I truly appreciate you, bro. It's always nice, like James said, to have somebody new, and it changes everything up. And I'm really grateful. And just one more thing about Justin, how you were talking about your dad and what you needed. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any right or wrong thing a family member can do. You know, I think the only wrong thing they do is not give themselves a break, man, and seek some type of relief themselves. You know, that's about the thing. But if they're in book and there's no right or wrong, you know,
There's definitely no handbook to
anyway,
this thing.
that's just from my personal experience.
Yeah,
No.
I get it.
Thank you, brother. And thank you again, Tim. I really appreciate you joining us, man, and being a part of. And until next time, love you guys.
Bye, guys.